Welcome back to Standard Edish, the video game book club podcast, where standard people play the standard edition of a video game and break it down week by week. I'm Billy.
I'm Jackie.
I'm Alan.
And I'm Kaylee.
And we are watching The Last of Us and sometimes playing God of War Ragnarok.
Yes.
Yes.
And before we get into any of that, we also are celebrating our 1-year anniversary.
Oh, yeah.
Woohoo! Yeah.
Cheers. Cheers, y'all.
Cheers. Wow.
What's your favorite memory from the past year? Kaylee, go.
I actually beat a Souls game.
Yeah.
That's pretty tight, which I would not have done without you people. So I would have given up probably at Margit. I would have, like, realistically, if it was just me under my own, like, powers, been like, this shit's hard. Bye. And I'm really glad, though, because, like, no, it was, like, fun and challenging and deep and interesting. And yeah, I would not have done that without you people.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Jackie?
It's a toss-up between all the messages in the world that mention standard and
Yeah, that was great.
and that one time, the one time when I beat the game and then butt dialed a listener.
Oh,
That was pretty epic.
Yeah.
yeah, that's totally high point.
I forgot about that.
It's part of the Patreon now.
That's part of the...
You get a butt dial.
Yeah. It's a secret member though. Yeah, so I feel like for me it was totally just, obviously starting the podcast and just like being kind of amazed about like the first reviews, like the first everything. Like the first reviews, I remember Billy telling us like, oh, we have like 26 plays on like our episode, and I was like blown away. I was like, that's more than just us. That's crazy. Like, even I only played it once, and I thought it was okay. But yeah, that it still blows me away that people are listening, and
We're up to 27 views.
Oh, okay. Well, for people with 27 views, people out there, thank you.
No, listener, don't worry. You're in good company out there. It's 28.
Damn, Billy. 2,800.
Yeah.
Maybe. No, that's not that
There
many.
are literally dozens of us. My answer would be, really, God damn it. Do you know what I really want to pick? But it's partly, it's the shed. My answer is just the shed in general, and like Jackie's first times fucking with the audio board.
Yeah.
I think that was the moments that came out of that were some of my highlights.
Shed.
Magical.
So that was year 1. Year 2, we're growing at an exponential rate, like a fungus, like a disease.
Yeah.
And we're getting ready to tackle some new games once we wrap up God of War. But before we do that, Jackie, you had a very special message you plucked that you wanted to share with us.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about, you wanted me to talk about this thing.
Talk about that.
Yeah.
Talk about, tell us all about the
boulders?
I can't think of any. Yeah, the boulder. There you go.
Jimbo finally manned up. No, I'm just kidding.
Manned up. So
Jimbo'd up.
Last episode I was recording from an Airbnb because I was on vacation in Vermont, and then the next morning was going for a hike with Jimbo, and at the top of the mountain he pulled out a big old rock from his pocket that was real shiny and on a ring, and it was an engagement ring, and I am engaged.
Yay!
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Awesome.
So who wants to buy me around?
Oh yeah.
Us, obviously. So many things to celebrate. We have our 1-year anniversary, and a new life milestone.
Yeah. Life event.
Yay!
Yeah.
So many achievement unlocks.
You guys, we've gone through a lot of stuff together
have.
because
We
then
have.
Alan had his baby.
Yeah. Wow. All this milestones.
Wow.
He couldn't have done it without us.
No, this is totally integral to that whole process.
Edit this out,
Listening
but
to our
I couldn't have got
podcast
through it without you
is
guys.
great for fertility.
That's right.
That's a side effect.
These dulcet tones. Yeah.
That's a side effect of podcasting.
End.
Be careful. Listening too close could get you pregnant.
It's possible. It's possible.
Always use protection.
She actually did listen in the shed once, and then shortly after.
That's
Alan
true.
told
That's
us.
true. She was technically there for a live recording. Yeah, it must be.
Is it a shed baby? Does Jimbo know?
Oh my god.
All
don't
right,
believe
so
so.
we could probably transition off this.
Yeah.
Oh,
should have
wait,
it-
tell us about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Read that thing in your
That's
hand.
a long message.
About the Gingeruto? Oh, like Ginger Ninja.
Yeah.
Naruto.
Naruto, yeah, I think so.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Gingeruto.
So an Irish Naruto.
I like it.
wrote us a very nice message on Instagram. Hey folks, first off, absolutely love the pod. Top quality work from everyone, and gutted I found it. I actually don't know if that's a typo or slang that I don't understand. Gutted I found it after finishing my first playthrough. Oh, gutted.
Yeah,
like,
they're sad.
like
Yeah.
sad.
Sad.
Yes.
Okay.
They're still
Yeah.
living.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Jackie.
As they should be. I mean, I don't know.
You're really showing your millennial with Alan. You're like, this is the first time you didn't know one of the slangs.
Oh. Okay, so I found it after finishing my first playthrough, but love listening along on my second playthrough. You folks crack me up, and I'm on board with Alan. I'm not a description reader, but
yeah.
I'll watch other people break stuff down in videos online.
I do like that. I do enjoy that.
Oh, man.
I have also played through and finished Ragnarok, and listening to you all play that cracks me up too.
Oh, nice.
Billy is my spirit animal when playing this game. So many whatever moments in God of War. It's great and disappointing in equal measure.
Yeah.
That is my review.
true.
They just
Yeah.
nailed it. It really is. It's like a high happens, and then someone just undercuts the whole moment with some cheesy line. And it's like, what the fuck? It's
Yeah,
like, what?
yeah.
Who mashed these together? In some ways, I love that they're mashed together because it is total nonsense. And you like almost cry, and then someone tells a fart joke. And you're like, what is this
Yeah,
game?
yeah.
What
Has
is
moments.
happening?
Okay. Had to message, though, to confirm Billy has great taste and Altered Beast is fantastic.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure it's available now on the Switch with the Sega Genesis Mega Drive in the UK emulator.
Oh yeah, but you gotta have that
was gonna
whole
say, there's like a
online
whole-
full-on package
It's a
thing.
whole
Gotcha.
whole system you need for
Unfortunately, it doesn't hold up.
Oh.
They just said it was
I mean, that tracks.
Spoilers.
They said it was fantastic, and then it doesn't hold up. Well, I mean,
Well, he should have said Altered Beasts Altered Beast was fantastic.
Right.
Because
well, I mean, yeah. Sometimes revisiting your old memories is a little bit like that, disappointing
Yeah.
and
better
nostalgic.
just to remember it fondly.
Yeah, remembering it fondly is always nice. It's okay,
Anyway, keep up the good work, guys, and looking forward to more shenanigans in different games. Big love from a near 40-year-old gamer dad. Just wait till your kid starts beating you in games, Alan.
Oh yeah, that.
Oh, and his name is also
I'm
Alan.
sure.
No.
Oh.
I was
That was
yeah.
directed to Alan.
directed
Yeah,
to Alan.
I'm sure.
Yes.
I'm sure.
That'll be hilarious.
Yeah, that'll definitely happen. I assume if my genetics, hold true. Hopefully.
Yes. Give it 6 more months.
Yeah. The gamer will run through his veins.
I love it. Thanks for writing in.
Yeah, thank you.
Consider dropping some of that into a review for us. I want to see that printed
Indeed.
officially. Hey, have you guys been watching this little show called The Last of Us?
Oh yeah, I've heard of it.
When I don't have anything else to do.
Oh, okay.
I don't
Did you
plan my
guys catch
entire
it?
Sunday around it or anything.
Yeah, exactly. So I think Rob and Sam did ask us to do something once, and we were like, we'll have to be home in time for
Right.
The Last of
Yeah,
Us.
yeah.
So I don't think
Wait,
we can make
yeah.
it. That's pushing it way too close.
Are they not watching The Last of Us? What's wrong with them?
Yeah.
No, they
Why?
are actually.
Just-
they just aren't feeling the need to click play
Right.
when
The
it's going live, I
prioritizing
guess.
it.
Oh, they are wrong.
They are wrong.
They are wrong.
Yeah.
Well, you guys forget too, over here, that's happening at 6.
Oh, true.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's
So
true.
we're planning dinner around it. We're not like You know,
Yeah.
it's not
That's
like
true.
9:00. There's nothing. It's
Right,
kind of
right.
just like it's your Sunday at 9, right? That was my East Coast life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now it's like it's hitting at 6. You're like,
Damn.
when it's 5, you're like, we better wrap this shit up in time. Are we going to be done with dinner?
Right?
Got
Yeah.
an early bird special.
Yeah.
Please.
But actually, that fits in with us because we always act like retired people. So the other day we went out. We did go out with Rob and Sam somewhere recently, and I was like, "Can we get started at 3?" And they were like, "Ooh, can we push it to 4?" I was like, "I guess, but places are going to start getting busy, guys. Like, and I'm not trying to get home at the crack of dawn. Like, let's go."
Early bird specials there.
What do you guys think of this episode, Escape from Kansas City? Henry and Sam debut.
Yeah.
Walk me through it.
Gut wrenching.
Yeah.
Not it.
I
Man.
cried.
I cried.
It was
I cried.
another,
That was a
another
toughie.
tough one, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I have to say, the thing that I'm really impressed with the whole Kansas City thing is that they didn't. So, like the game, they don't have any of that backstory at all. And I love how quickly they built up this villain character.
Yeah.
In what was her name? I forget her name.
Kathleen.
Yeah.
Kathleen. Yeah. And it's like they built her up and they like gave all of this like backstory to her and so many amazing character moments. I mean, she's a fantastic actress anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I don't know, just her scariness was just so, you don't get that in the game at all. I love it. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And the final showdown there was,
Oh, that was incredible. I
Dude,
think this was
incredible.
my
Billy,
favorite
are
episode
you-
so far.
Are you a psychic? Do you have psychic abilities that you haven't shared with us? Because you predicted everything in this episode.
Wait, I did?
Yeah.
I genuinely
Yeah,
do not
you
remember
did-
that.
you
What are you
did.
talking about?
You did, as far as how people might escape and how it all might...
And,
and
Oh.
and the bloaters.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, that was just
Yeah, they did-
I feel
they
like
teased
they
it.
said
They
we
teased
have
it a bit,
3 chess pieces, and I was like, well, the easiest thing to do is to use them like this, so that
Well, I am not that smart.
No. All right, that's obviously not true, but go ahead and talk more about how I'm smart. That felt better.
Yeah, you just know how these things work, you know?
Yeah.
You see
Blushy. Blush. So, do you guys remember in the game Ish's area?
No.
Stop talking about how smart I am and talk about Ish. You
Ish's?
guys don't remember Ish?
Don't know if I do either.
I don't remember.
I haven't even on my second playthrough.
You know what? Well, Alan, that makes sense though, because this is a note backstory. You have to read the notes.
Oh, yeah. I
to
don't
get this
remember
part.
that.
So the Allens,
I mean-
the Allens of the world would not
Yeah.
be super familiar
No,
with Ish.
probably not.
But Ish is the backstory to the sewers habitat that they discover,
Oh,
the
yeah.
nursery and area.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I did read all of those. I just didn't remember the name Ish.
Yeah, that was cool. It was like a little, so its own civilization sort of community that never left the. It was basically like a bunker system almost, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And which was weird because supposedly they drove all the infected underground. So why would there be people like establishing themselves also underground, you know?
It might have been different timelines, right? So like the underground establishment might have happened like earlier because I think that they had
Right,
said
right.
that the
Oh, true.
driving the undead happened relatively recently.
Oh.
Yeah. I think that's true that it's, well,
That might have been the reason that that underground area was deserted, was because they got overrun with infected when they were driven underground.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, they also had like at least in the show, it had the drawing of like the Fedra officer and it was like our protectors or whatever. And
mhm.
at the time, it probably might have been seemed that way if it was early on. And then, as time went on and
Yeah.
things got worse,
Mm-hmm.
they probably got worse.
Yeah, I think you can rationalize it. I also think it's just a little bit of a whoopsie where they're like, what really happened is the show has a new area, Kansas City, which is not really the area you go to in the game, and they're using a lot of the stuff, and they're creating that new faction that you like, Kaylee, which in the game is just sort of a faceless faction that's just mad and wants to shoot you. So they give it a backstory and they give it this stuff. And they only like a week ago got their independence and stuff. So they're like doing all this really interesting thematic stuff. They also want the bloater to make sense. So they say, a couple years back or whatever, we drove all the infected underground. Maybe that's how you make a bloater, right? Like they're kind of like, yeah, maybe that's that. But then they also got this cool-ish stuff from the game, where in the game, you didn't have to worry about any of that underground driving shit, underground stuff, because that didn't specifically happen in Kansas City, because you didn't even go there.
Yeah.
And you just had this area in the sewers that you found that had been... The reason it went bad, I think, in the note lore, they kind of showed they had, like, rules and on the wall. And the rules are, like, you know, never... leave the door open and pretty obvious stuff. And it's sort of just implied that the people there in the game, the infected in that zone in the game are the ones who were probably there, and someone must have slipped on a rule at some point and infected got in and everybody turned. Right. And I think just it's really cool how they mashed them together, but also if you try to dig way too deep, it almost doesn't. It's like, wait, so is a Fedra person went under but they put the people under, but they cleared it, so were they here or there? And it's like, I think it's like, don't worry about that part.
They kind of just like make it a legend, almost like, you know, because even when they went down there, Sam was like, oh no, they totally cleared this thing up, and at least that's what I heard from so and so, and who heard from so and so. What
I did love was seeing the kids interact in the space and really getting some of their moments,
like kids actually being able to be kids.
Actually, what?
Kids actually being able to be kids.
Yes.
Like reading a comic book together and kind of doodling stuff, playing sport games. Like, you know, like actually doing little kid things.
Yeah.
Not like sport games.
Sport games. Yeah. Spoken like a real gamer. You know, those sport games.
Yeah. You know, sport games. You know, the ones that don't involve books.
Right.
I think they had a ball, right? It has a ball. Ball games.
It has a ball.
Yeah, I feel like...
I'm told there's a ball.
I feel like this episode hit hard that way, too, for, like, you kind of saw some of those moments where Joel is sort of, like, reliving sort of his parenthood, you know, sort of like that. And Ellie in a world where, like, she's kind of forced to be more of an adult, even though none of the adults see her that way. She's able to kind of enjoy some of the childhood she left behind or whatever with Sam. And those moments are kind of, like, pretty... sort of genuine, I guess, and nice to watch. But again, I think that's why it hits harder, because you're like, she kind of loses a bit of that. She kind of leaves that behind at the end, right? Like, kind of like, that's it. Yeah. There's my childhood. Yeah, it's over. Jesus.
Yeah, I think she also like really. So she leaves that note at the very end. That says I think it just says I'm sorry, right? And I think it like really shows that shift in her character that will become really important where she is now. Definitely wanting her, what do you call it? Like her immunity to be really meaningful. So
I
think it's the first time that it really like the gravity of it really hit her. Because until this point, it's like, oh, I didn't get sick. And she can't really, like, if I was her, I wouldn't be able to grasp the idea that I can save everybody, you know?
Right. Everyone who dies that she can see, especially, she is blaming herself. Yeah. Right. Now, at least in this moment, is what I think that's what we're seeing. And what's interesting there is, like, I think Joel is feeling totally different things, where he had these tiny pockets in the episode where he was starting to bond and let his guard down. And as soon as he did, these people get taken away from him. And now I think when Ellie's walking off, he's kind of having an oh shit moment where he kind of starting to like this person. And now what if this happens to her? This grave he just dug. And so they're both really at the same time with completely different motives having their like oh shit moment.
Yep.
And I thought Henry's whole villainization was really interesting too.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Talk about it.
Well, I don't remember how it was in the game, but in the show, he was a collaborator with Fedra because they had medicine for Sam. He had was it leukemia?
I think they do say
leukemia. Yeah, they mentioned leukemia.
And it's kind of fucked up. Like Fedra wouldn't give him the medicine unless he gave them information, which was how to get to the leader of the rebellion, which was a man that he like loved dearly, probably as a friend. We don't know his sexuality, but you know, he talked about like, this is a man that I would follow to the ends of the earth. Like he was so special to me, and I had to betray him because I couldn't let my brother die. And you can tell like he was really torn up about it, and somehow like Kathleen couldn't. I find it shocking that Kathleen couldn't understand like why she held this vendetta against him. They succeeded in their rebellion. They took over, and yeah, she lost her brother, but like, would she rather have him lost his brother? Like it's 6.5 dozen.
Oh, and I think there's two things that brings to mind. So like one is like the second command, who is the guy who's actually one of the voice actors from the original game.
Yeah.
Yep.
He tells Kathleen outright that like they would not have been successful without her being the one in charge rather than her brother.
Right.
And so it's almost like their success is because this happened. But then the other thing that she says is like, you know, she calls Henry out. It's like, do you think that your brother was the one who was worth it? And it's like, well, do you think yours is the one that's worth it? Like you're saying the same thing. It just happens to be that you're the one with the gun. Mm-hmm. And it was a very interesting, like, morality being on the side of the victor kind of thing. Yeah. You know, Henry is
usually is.
Yeah, exactly. It's very, like, the very embodiment of that is just,
one more wrinkle there was them discussing at one point. Oh, fuck, I just lost it. Sorry. There's one more wrinkle to the whole. Oh, she mentions that her brother even told her at the end when she visited him.
Yes.
To forgive Henry, but she still can't do it. Right. So I think having that element helps. Just her acknowledging that she doesn't have that piece that he had, and that's kind of like her weakness and why she may be a more ruthless leader who got it done, but also like probably a shittier leader too who loses because she drives them into this place where everybody gets killed. I think that kind of that helped for me with the whole thing as to why I could believe that she wouldn't forgive Henry. Just kind of that throwaway backstory. I guess not throwaway, but
short backstory.
Yeah. To me, I feel like the things that like kind of stick out is like, you know, these two people sort of, you know, one's consumed by like revenge, and at the end, like Billy says, it sort of kind of takes its toll, and you know, kind of, eventually that doesn't lead to her saving her people at the end, because she's just so driven by the revenge that she has to have on Sam, on Henry. I mean, and then Henry, like you kind of see that he's sort of making these decisions that like all these normal people have to make. I mean, these are gray, you know, morality decisions that like, yes, would you put in the same situation? Like Joel even like was like, oh, you're a collaborator, fuck you, man. Like, and then he was like, eventually he's like, yeah, you would have done the same thing if it was your kid. Or he kind of assumes that because he kind of reads Joel a bit, but so you kind of get that sense. It's like no one's really a good guy or a bad guy. It's just like the decisions you make, you kind of, you know, they're tough decisions in the world that they're living in. And yeah, it's seeing that duality between those two was kind of cool in this episode.
And I mean, it's like in normal life, you can't ever and should never try to please everybody. You know, you have to do what's best for you. And I feel like the stakes are just way higher in this world, you know?
Yeah. Character defects are
and we
greater.
get that very interestingly juxtaposed with the kids finding a superhero comic book.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
with very black and white morality rules.
Mhm.
There's
Right.
good guys and there are bad guys. And, you know,
I never made that connection.
Mm.
It's good.
to me, that was just it's always very interesting thing. It's like, you know, Ellie has that as like her mentality on, you know, the good guys and the bad guys.
Right.
And it's kind of a similar journey to what Atreus has gone through, actually, which is that no, the story is more complicated than that. There's not just a right answer and a wrong answer.
Yeah, that's really clever, Kaylee. And like the kids romance those stories, right? Oh,
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be nice? Like
Yeah. Well, and that's why
they're drawn to it.
She cuts her hand because she's like, I have a superpower. You know,
Right,
like this is my superpower. It's like, no. You don't know how to. That's not how that works.
Yeah.
My blood is medicine. It's no. There's maybe something in there that could be helpful, but like it's
A
not
couple more
like
steps, maybe.
Honestly,
Yeah.
good on her for trying. Like,
Yeah.
it's
might
cost
as
her
well.
nothing.
Right. And I mean, we already know what the end would be, so I guess there's no harm in hurting. You know, she's not gonna get infected or anything.
I'm just sad that like it was so sweet when he said, "Stay awake with me," and I really wanted to see that happen.
Billy's like, she did. Well, she did fall asleep.
No.
Lazy.
Friggin' fell asleep.
Right?
Yeah,
Like if you were
upset.
dying and then the person that you asked to stay with you fell asleep, you'd be like, you motherfucker.
Was it? Yeah, but did she
Like,
think it was gonna
slap
work?
her.
She almost half thought it was gonna work. I think.
I guess.
I mean,
yeah.
otherwise she would have probably told everyone. But again, like,
How come she didn't do that for Tess?
she didn't know Tess.
Heat of the moment,
have comic
chaos.
And she didn't have a chance really either.
Yeah.
That's true.
Joel
It was
just kind of
Yeah.
happening
She
very
picked up
does
fast.
and
get-
dragged her.
I think that she is yelling, no, we can't leave her, and Joel is dragging her away.
Right.
Mhm.
So she may not rationally have jumped to that, but she's like kind of still resisting leaving her and stuff.
That's right. And also, like, the horde was on its way.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
it was pretty eminent.
Yeah, they didn't have time to ruminate any decisions there. The ending was cool though. The bloaters and
Yeah.
a million clickers. That was ridiculous.
Just so many.
I
And the-
love that.
And the kid one that was the acrobat.
Oh yeah, that was crazy.
That was my favorite when she was in the little
Yes.
truck or car cabin, and the little kid was doing gymnastics in there, flopping into the seat. That was so
Yeah,
good.
that was good.
I love
that. Was
that.
good. When they first come out of the hole too, I feel like at first
that was crazy.
At first I thought it was CGI, the way that like it was filmed or the way it was acted and stuff. Like, and then I think I remember in the behind the scenes it was all real people coming out of that hole. I mean, I think they.
Oh, was it really?
I think they sped up the film probably, but it definitely felt like it was just like 1 to 100. It was 0 to 100, right? Like it was just like there, and then there was a million just pouring out of there. It was crazy.
And that was practical? That's wild.
Yeah, it's practical.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Very ambitious.
Yeah.
I usually watch that after part, and then that doesn't ring a bell. Maybe I skipped it this time.
I know I skipped that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
You should go back and do
Yeah,
that
that was
one
good.
because it's cool watching some of that moment, how they talk about it. And I want to say they said something like one of the reasons is while you could have done it digitally, getting all those crazy movements was much easier to quickly do with people.
That's so true.
Right. Practically, it would have been
That makes
much
sense.
easier than hand animating at that point, like getting the movement
Right,
down.
with all the little arm
Yeah,
twitches and like because they all did such a
looked
good
amazing.
job with
I was like,
yeah.
I think that must have been done in CGI because look at all that stuff. Yeah,
I should be on
yeah,
the
you
show.
should be on the show. Maybe season 2.
should be on the
show.
Jack
Right,
is season 2. Yeah, and the bloater was as a beefy,
Tight.
beefy
Bloater was
TM.
cool.
That's what it.
Beefy.
Yeah, yeah. That was my.
Aw.
For most people waiting for me to say beefy.
bloater.
Yeah,
Big boy.
yeah.
I do love how they very so like I remember in the game the first time you meet a bloater and you like have to kill it and it's like a hard gate. You have to kill it in order to get through this area. And I just remember that taking so many tries just because they just eat bullets. And I love that they kept that. I love that this thing is just like cannot be killed with bullets in this show. It's awesome. I'm so impressed.
You know what else I loved about the ending, actually? how they connected it to the sniper moment from the game, which I think is like
Yeah.
a pretty different
Yes.
moment,
Yeah.
but so cool to connect it to this like action scene.
Yeah, that sniper bit was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, in the game, I remember like, oh my god, I'm so stuck. How do I get out of this? Yeah. And
But you do get out of it, and then you run on. We already really talked about the end. We lose Henry and Sam in a pretty brutal scene, pretty much
Yeah.
straight from the game. So that was crazy. Ellie blames herself, and you guys walk off into the distance right into episode 6, where we go to Jackson.
I'm going to Jackson.
Yeah, that was great. The
Yep.
set design
Comb
was
your hair.
amazing. Did they? Is that a real town, or is that a real town?
Yeah.
It is. I've been there. I just
a real
went
town.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
You
Yeah.
just went. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That
a
is
year
neat.
ago. But
Okay, so
we're
did
old,
they-
so that
was
feels
that the
like
real-
I mean, that counts.
Was that the real town in the episode?
they did not film it there.
So that was
but,
all set design and stuff.
Yeah, they made it look.
I mean,
pretty
it looked
fucking good. Like,
up to this point. I think this is like the place that looked exactly like the game. I was like,
Yes.
I was like, hey,
Yeah.
Kara, look at there's the stables. That's where
Uh-huh.
that's the where they keep the horses, and this is the open little bar area, like the
Yeah.
open communion hall or whatever, like communion hall. That was cool. I thought they did a
Yeah.
great job.
from the second one,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes, from
It's
the
in
second one.
first
The first one
one.
you don't really see that.
Jackson is actually, they're like
Yeah,
not
yeah.
actually in
I'm
Jackson
mixing-
yet.
I'm mixing
That made me scared. I was like, oh my god, are they doing the entire second game in this season? Like,
yeah. It did give me the vibes of like, this town's gonna be very memorable in the later game, but
they are confirmed to do the second game, though, right? That's like a thing.
Yeah,
They're doing that next season. Yeah.
it was already
Season 2,
renewed.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
Good.
Oh yeah.
they
Haha.
better be.
And I guess we'll see how much of the first game they'll do. I mean, I don't know how far how many more episodes we have left, and how much left is in the game. I mean, they're getting there, but they could extend it.
I think they've officially said they're gonna. I could be
are
misquoting,
they
but I
gonna
think
wrap
they
it up?
have said they're gonna have 9 episodes and they will wrap it up.
Oh,
Whoa.
Wow.
So we don't have much
very
left.
succinct. Okay, cool.
Well, yeah. I mean, considering what happened in episode 6, it seems like it's approaching the finale.
Yeah, it's good pace.
Yeah, it's gonna be brisk though.
Did you guys see when they finally got their like real home cooked meal in Jackson, and Ellie was like, "What?" at like some kid that then runs
yeah.
away.
Yeah.
Long brown.
Dina.
Yep. Long
Yep.
brown braid.
Oh,
Definitely.
interesting. I didn't put that
Yeah.
together, but yeah, I kind of thought about it. It must have been in the back of my mind though. I was like, oh, maybe. I don't know enough maybe yet. But that was a funny little differentiator between like sort of the kids that grew up here and like were maybe
Right.
born and raised here versus like being even more of a city kid in the QZ, you know what I mean? Like it's like amplified street smart kid like Ellie is. So it was kind of funny where she was like, and you kind of see that a little bit. Like no one talks like you around here. No kid talks like you around here. Is
Yeah.
what I forget her name now.
That's what, Maria?
Maria, yeah, what she says.
Take the girl out of the city, but not the city out of the girl, I guess.
Yeah, the QZ.
Yeah, there you
yeah.
go.
Yeah. It's a reunion,
I-
right?
We didn't talk about before they get to Jackson, the couple. I thought they were
Oh, that
hilarious.
was so
Oh,
funny.
that was great.
I felt like
Oh, yeah.
the wife seemed like not an actress. She seemed just like a real person that they
Yeah, right,
enjoyed
right.
and wanted to put on the show.
Yeah, like that's her personality.
kind of feel that way.
Yeah, like just
It's like they just
Yeah.
stumbled upon this couple
Yeah.
like living out in the middle of nowhere, Montana, and
Yeah.
were like, "Hey, you guys want to be on the show?"
Yeah.
I've seen that. I've seen that other actor
Yeah.
before too, the husband. I've seen him in other stuff, but yeah, he was good in it. It was funny, little sort of like just retired, you know, people living out in the middle of nowhere, and they're kind of just like, well, I don't know, you're gonna kill us or not? Whatever. Like, what do you want? Directions? Oh, you got a map. You don't know where you are. Thought that was funny.
Yeah.
I love.
Such
Why
an
didn't
old
you
man
shoot
line.
him? The gun was too far away because all those little
yeah,
like
yeah.
Oh, the gun was all the way over there.
Yeah.
There's no directions. There's no signs in the fucking woods.
I was disappointed that they didn't do the dam puzzle thing.
You wanted to see the puzzle live?
A start of it. I want them to start the puzzle.
Or like some kind of problem solving in crossing the dam or whatever. I remember it being like a big thing.
Because that's the
for
one
me.
where that's the moment when I think Ellie admits that she doesn't know how to swim.
Mm-hmm.
Did she already give
No,
us?
they must have dealt with it earlier than that, right?
I don't remember.
I don't think so.
She might have mentioned it. Was it this episode where she mentioned that? No, I might be confusing Atreus now, not knowing how to swim.
She
That's
didn't.
true.
She
Both of our
said,
protagonists.
she
Yeah.
said she couldn't swim when they got to that hotel that was like
Oh, right.
calf deep in water.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
she got to it there. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Not many pools in the QZ, I guess.
Eh.
Chemicals are expensive.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, that's true.
It's annoying. It's a real problem.
So they have this new element of Joel's PTSD of not being able to save anybody, and it's like kind of that do anything for you guys?
I enjoyed that. It took me a minute to figure out what was going on.
Well,
but I was like,
I thought,
cool.
The
I
panic
thought he was
attack.
just old. Yeah. Oh, I thought it was just old.
I thought he was about to like flip out the way he like punched that soldier in the QZ.
Yeah.
He started like
Yeah, he saw
getting
red.
all like in his head. And I thought he was going to either tackle the dog or like shoot everybody or I don't know. But then it was the opposite. He just like froze up.
Yeah, it was like a panic attack, sort of a PTSD moment. It seems like he's, where that Joel back in the QZ was sort of like rageful and like kind of was able to do whatever. Now he's sort of like panicking a bit, I think, with the responsibility of Ellie, or the weight of that, I guess, perhaps. It was an interesting moment. I have seen several memes on the socials about it, which is like three little, some of them are pretty funny. But yeah.
Wait, what are... I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen this.
They're all just like, like getting feedback on your designs or whatever. Great
Gotcha.
great first stab at this. We got some feedback. And it's just like Joel like on the post having a panic attack. So there's a bunch. I'll send some, but
That's pretty relatable.
That's funny. I like
That is too relatable to my day. Yeah.
Like, did they go?
So in Jackson, they kind of do some day in the lifey stuff, and people slowly learn things about each other. And Ellie gets to learn about how Joel had a daughter. Some interesting little moments, but
accidentally.
She let Marie let this slip.
Yeah, let it slip.
Let that slip, or was like very crafty about
Very,
it. I
deliberate.
felt like that was a deliberate thing.
Fair.
Yeah, I thought she was trying to sow mistrust and like, trying to with
She
honorable
doesn't trust
intention.
Joel, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So she's trying to like protect this young girl, and
Maybe, because like when Ellie said sorry about your kids, plural, maybe she was like, oh, she doesn't know? Joel didn't tell her? Like maybe that like heightened her mistrust of this shifty Joel man.
certainly.
You're right.
Yeah. I feel like she's trying to put some distance between the two brothers. I'm understanding maybe like Tommy told a version of what Joel used to be and how he was before. And I think this is the Joel she expects. So I think she's just looking out for Tommy and stuff too. So, but yeah, I think that's just, it's not as welcoming as we all thought it would be. Like obviously Joel was coming to like save Tommy, but it kind of seems like he's pretty doing all right,
good.
right?
I feel like Joel went to rescue Tommy because Tommy just stopped communicating, and so he thought he was in trouble. But and we're assuming that Maria was trying to make Tommy distance himself from his brother, but I feel like that could have been executed with some more tact. Like, hey, I found a spot, like I'm safe, I'm happy, and I'll send you a Christmas card. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
could have. Because that's a lot of trouble to hike all the way out to Wyoming and realize you don't need rescuing, you know?
I do feel like there could have been some kind of last communication. It's like, hey, I'm not allowed to tell you where I am, but I'm safe. I'm going to be safe. Don't worry about me. I feel like that's fair in the post-apocalyptic world to let people do to their loved ones.
Yeah. I don't know if Tommy was just sort of starting his life and kind of maybe not even admitting to himself, but kind of trying to just let Joel kind of just not be part of his anymore. I don't know. It was kind of a weird way, fade into the background and kind of leave that part of his life behind in a maybe sad way. But and I feel like there's some reconciling there because they have a big disagreement at the bar about what they did and why they did it, and it's a very your life is, you may have given up on your life, but I'm able to start my new one thing with Tom. It's pretty rough. Those things you say.
Your life might have ended, but mine.
Oh yeah. That was a brutal line. And Joel's pretty sad about that. Or as you would be after hiking all that way.
Yeah.
I'd be like, fuck this. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
All right, so here's the real question. After that, we finally get the scene we've all been waiting for. Probably the most iconic scene from the game. You're not my daughter scene. How did it hold up for everyone?
That was an amazing bit. I don't know. That bit of acting was just so... I don't know. There was a lot that hit right there. I thought it was really good. I thought they did a really good job with it. I had actually forgotten that bit from the video game.
Same.
And so I wasn't sure if it was fresh or not when I watched it. And I was like, whatever this is, it's spot on. It's it's the feeling, it's the, it's summing up the conflict. And then he shows up the next day in the stable and she doesn't even have a question.
Yeah.
Yes, we're going. Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah. I feel like I liked Ellie's acting better than Joel's in that scene. Or I at least felt for her more. I didn't quite understand Joel's perspective. He's trying to push her away because he doesn't want to fail her, which I don't know.
I'm curious, did you remember that part from the game at all? Did it make more sense to you there, or is this kind of
verbatim?
Okay. No, I was just curious if you were I remember when I played the game I got it, but this time I didn't, or...
No, in the game it's fuzzy.
I kind of wonder if... Well, I have one thought on that. Alan, why don't you tell us first how it felt for you?
Yeah, no, I mean, I kind of also was a bit fuzzy on this moment. I think watching it in real time, I thought it landed pretty well. I thought it was really good, well executed. I feel like this episode overall too, I felt like I really am liking Bella Ramsey and their role as Ellie. I feel like it's sort of, the jury's out, and a lot of people have their opinions on it, but I think they're doing a great job. I really I see them as Ellie now, and they're really kind of fitting those shoes. I think this is kind of one of those moments where it kind of confirmed it for me, where I'm like, oh yeah, kind of confronting Joel in that way is so Ellie, right? And I'm not your daughter. That's it's a heavy opener. I'm not your daughter. Just stop being a bitch. You know what I mean? And everyone left me, and you're gonna leave me too, and all this stuff. I did like the sort of ending bit where he saddled up and ready to take her. So it was nice.
Yeah, I think the part I almost liked even more than that scene was the next morning with the whole saddle bit, and when Joel is I thought you deserved a choice. I still think Tommy would be a better choice because he knows the area, and I love that the way that she cuts him off and just slams her sleeping bag into his arms and is like, let's go.
Was awesome.
That was the most Ellie moment to me, actually.
Yeah.
That was like a really good portrayal.
That was awesome.
But I agree with you. Episode 5 and 6 are the ones that the most bought me in on Bella being Ellie. And I don't know if that's just because even in my memory, when you actually really think about the Ellie you like the most, this is about in the story where she starts getting the most fun. Maybe that's
true.
also
That's
just
probably
true.
Yeah.
And so you think about all this stuff and then really, because like I said, right, episode 1 and 2 were not that amazing to me. But also when I replay the game, I'm blown through that because it's the most boring part of the game.
Yeah.
So like it's true there too.
get
It's
into
all
the
just, it's like really prolonged setup and tutorial-y stuff that I don't care about what's happening in Boston, right? I'm like,
Yeah.
just get me out of here.
Yeah. By the way, my beer ad of today is that I'm drinking Ellie's Brown, American Brown Ale by Avery Brewing in Boulder, Colorado. And it's
Ooh.
delicious.
That's good beer. Ellie's.
Yeah.
Okay, let's wrap up this episode real quick. After that sponsorship from Ellie, which is they go to the college. So she makes her choice. Sleeping bag. Here, hold my sleeping bag, bitch. We're going to the college. So they go to the college. No one's there. Spoilers, of course, because we're not going to end the show yet.
Right.
But then we get into like a little scrap.
Mm-hmm.
What happened? Someone walk me through it.
Well, I don't know who those people were and why they were there.
I think they were just
they're just
randos.
randos. Yeah. In the game, I think like you find the
They're
university
like
deserted.
bandits or something.
Yeah, like the roaming bandits in an area.
Scavengers.
Yeah, scavengers and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a
Bad
baseball bat,
guys.
and the baseball bat gets broken,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and Joel gets stabbed and doesn't realize it, and kills the guy, turns around, and then looks down, and is just like,
There's a
shit.
baseball bat handle in my gut.
Yeah,
stomach.
that was
Why
rough.
does he
Not
remove
good.
it so quickly?
Yeah.
That's just, don't we all
think
know
we
that's
all-
bad
That's
choice?
bad.
Do that.
Yeah.
If you get stabbed by something, don't remove it.
I think
Keep your blood in your body.
We must have all been screaming that at the TV because I literally was like, "Don't take it out! Don't take it out!" Oh no! What? Why?
No.
You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to leave it in there, which is totally counterintuitive. I've never been stabbed, so sure, I'll do the same thing for sure.
Yeah, for people who have never been stabbed,
Yeah,
commenting
it's
on.
like actually, you really need to keep it in, and blood flow is actually contained within the
I've had lots of splinters.
same thing.
This is like that. It was a very big splinter.
That's the biggest splinter.
Big
Yeah,
splinter.
biggest splinter. You need,
Yeah, you got to treat that wound. You don't know where that baseball bat's been.
you're gonna need bigger tweezers.
Well, I mean, it was just broken, so technically the inside is sterile, you know?
All right. Yeah.
I
Well,
don't
if that's how
I
science
think
works.
that's how that works.
It's apocalyptic baseball bat could be probably. Yeah,
Those are sterile wooden fibers in your body.
yeah.
I don't know.
So they make a getaway
Yeah.
in a really classic scene from the game, I feel like, where then Joel just falls off the horse.
Cut to black.
Yeah.
Cut to black. Alan, are they going to open the next episode with your favorite scene?
I think that, so that's what I was wondering. I was like, is this the scene already where, yeah, I hope so. I think,
Yep.
I mean, she
What
already
is
picked
it?
up, some rabbits on the way to Jackson. So,
Oh, foreshadowing.
yeah. So you'll, I hope they recreate that. That was a,
Yeah.
I think the next episode's the DLC.
oh,
No. Oh,
yeah,
yes, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
They do,
But that will probably be bookended, I bet, with
potentially, yeah.
some present day.
I hope so.
Because that's what they
'Cause that would be
did
cruel.
with episode 3.
Yeah, that's true.
It's sort of a,
Right.
back in time
Yeah,
sort of episode.
that makes sense.
So if that's the DLC, then the one after that is the Snow Town thing with the crazy dude.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
And then that's it. And then we're
Yeah, and then
we're done.
9? You said
And then
9
9
episodes,
would-
right?
Yeah,
and
and
then-
I guess 9 would be
yeah,
the
and then,
finale. They make it to the
yeah.
Fireflies, and we
Yeah.
see that.
The hospital.
We get them in the summer.
We get them in the summer.
Oh yeah, they didn't know the Fireflies.
so
That was
funny.
great. Yeah.
That's great.
No,
No.
not the Fireflies. The real one. Yeah. And didn't Ellie just learn about Fireflies, which is so funny because she's like telling them about it. Is like, no, I thought she learned about it in the on the way to
Oh.
Bill's, maybe?
Like she didn't know.
No, she knew about it.
Oh, okay.
She knew about it. I think we'll learn in the flashback that she knew about
Oh,
it.
okay.
Yeah.
You mean
She
learned about the bug or learned about the organization?
The bug. I meant the bug, but
Yeah.
Wow,
don't
we're
think-
confusing each
Oh,
other.
I don't think
I meant-
fireflies hang out in the QZ.
no.
No. I
yeah.
thought Alan meant she didn't know about the org, and I was like, no, she did.
I thought that's
Oh,
what he
okay.
meant.
I see.
I
All
got
right,
you, Alan.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Let's put any last closing thoughts on The Last of Us before a short break.
Last thoughts.
I'm excited
The
for
last-
the next episode. That's all.
The Last of Us thoughts.
Riley.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
Yeah. Another
Riley?
The next episode.
back in time episode. I love it.
All right, well, stay tuned for God of War chapters all about the good old boys. Jackie, you look beautiful in your new bounce light.
Yeah. It's the second monitor.
I was gonna say.
Oh, nice. Well,
Bounce light,
gang,
yeah.
we're reunited with Paw.
Paw.
Oh, yeah.
Aw.
the
The
nice
father-son classic duo.
Papa
Yeah.
Kratos. Yeah. Reunited.
You remember what we're doing? Remember what we're gonna do? Because we made a little boo boo.
He made a
Yeah,
boo-boo.
yeah.
You gotta go bring the dog in because you let him out.
Let the dog out. Yeah.
Can't let the dog out of the yard
No.
without a
Oh,
collar.
I can't do it. I can't do it.
Who let the dogs out? Atreus. Trey, yes.
Oh boy.
Loki.
I feel like I should get canceled for
Yeah,
that.
Go away.
that's like very millennial childhood stuff right there. That might not land for a lot of folks. Well, maybe not. Definitely not the Gen Zs because they're not gonna know what that is.
Hey, we have plenty of people in their 40s who listen to.
That was just for you guys.
That's true.
That was for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did that take you back to MTV when they were music television and not whatever?
Yeah.
I
whatever
don't even
they
know
show
what's
now?
on.
I don't know.
Does MTV still exist?
Yeah. I think.
I think so.
You guys
I
sound
thought
so confident about those answers.
I mean, yeah. I don't.
Well, the last time I checked in
Brilliant
10
people.
years ago, they were definitely there. Yeah. So
Naturally.
the world doesn't change that quickly, so they must still be there.
No.
Hey, so you go back to hell to find
yeah.
Garm. Old Garmy boy.
Gorp.
Gorp? No,
Gorp.
Garm.
Garm.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, I
like
believed
Gorp,
you for a
though.
minute.
Good boy, Garm.
Good boy, Garm.
All right. Let me set the stage for you guys, and then you can walk me through it. First of all, you're going to go back to Helheim to find Garm, which is the dog that can open realms, tear through realms, kind of like the dragon you fought with his claws, right? So he has that same ability.
Oh,
and
yeah.
because he does, like, different Hellwalkers are free in all the realms because of this thing that you did that pretty much, it seems very obvious, that Odin tricked you into doing, right?
Yes.
So all your friends back in the treehouse are mad at you, and Kratos is the only one who's kind of like, hey, he didn't know, he's probably walked into this, and let's go do this thing. So you guys are like, let's go back on a classic father-son adventure to find the big bad wolf.
And even without Mimir.
Even without Mimir.
With no Mimir.
No Mimir. No dumb
That was
stories.
a relief.
It was a relief.
That's actually nice.
I know you guys
I didn't
like
think
Mimir.
about it.
He's been getting old to me.
I mean, I don't know if I like him.
I tolerate him.
Yeah.
I like
think-
Mimir when he's not saying that Kratos is on fire.
Yes.
It'll pass.
Or behind you, brother.
Yes.
On your right.
Yes. I know.
Get
On
up,
your right.
brother.
Yeah. Just the barks are too much. Let's slow down his
Yeah.
combat barks. Way too much.
It'll pass.
Woof, woof.
There's only room for one barking creature. And I think Garm is going to win.
There you go. All right. Well, while you guys are adventuring, you get a bunch of real classic video gamey fire hex arrows at door puzzles and then freeze them with your axe. But if you are literally beginning to do it the second you see the door, don't worry, Atreus will tell you how to do it, but still faster than you can solve the puzzle if you have already spotted it and are actively trying to do it.
Yeah, I tried to focus on the dialogue, the conversations they're having during this section, and not the puzzles, because that was not great.
Well, tell me about these conversations, Jackie.
Well, Kratos is trying to, like, get out of Atreus, like, what have you been up to in Asgard? And, like, what have you been doing for Odin? And, like, you sure you weren't helping him with his devious intentions? And, like, just the kind of, like, it's still really hard to trust you, Atreus. And yeah, I don't know.
Without like pushing too hard, right? But then he'll almost overstep the line, and Atreus will point it out, and he'll kind of be like, "You're right" for a moment, but also, what were you doing?
Yeah. He's not. Yeah. Kratos definitely doesn't have the light touch of like parenting. You know what I mean? Like he's trying. You can tell he's trying here.
By the end of this chapter, he does.
He does. Yeah. They definitely go through a sort of arc and evolution in this. It's like he's trying. He kind of sees not really doing it, and then Loki kind of calls him out, and Atreus is like, I don't really, So it's kind of going back and forth to the end, and then it's like, which we'll get to, but it's just parenting. He's not really great at the soft touch. No.
I don't know. A lot of it is like, also he's like a teenager. He's going to have some of his own agency.
Right.
So you've got to like understand that a little bit. And it was like, I don't know. This one was a lot of like teenager and dad conversations. Like, let's figure out our boundaries now that you are, able to make decisions on your own.
Right.
Yeah. It kind of seems like it winds up with Kratos trusting Atreus' judgment. They make a promise, right? They promise each other that they will consider.
Wasn't that at the end?
Maybe that's at the end.
That might be at the end.
At the end.
Maybe it might be at the
Okay,
end.
well, hold that thought, because before we get there, we get real close to Garm, and Atreus does not want to kill him. He wants to try to tame him. He's like pretty convinced he can tame Garm.
Yeah, he's like, Dad, please just promise you won't kill the puppy.
Yeah.
I want him. I want the puppy.
Right. They try it Atreus' way first. Which is
Well, how does that go, Alan? How do you do that?
It doesn't go. It doesn't go as planned for Atreus. I mean, he wants to, sort of settle the dog down and sort of capture him so he can like settle him down. And I think he just runs wild, and Kratos isn't able to like chain him back up.
Didn't Atreus transform into like the?
Oh yeah.
What was it? A fox?
No, his wolf.
No, he is a wolf.
Yeah.
It was a wolf.
So he's trying to commune with the wolf, and so I think that was his way of like trying to settle the dog back down. And even then, like it didn't work out. And Kratos is like couldn't help himself but be like, kind of told you we're gonna do it my way now. And like
now we do it my way. Oh boy, here I go killing again.
Something.
oh boy, yeah, totally.
Oh boy.
Yeah, even Atreus is kind of like
nature.
Atreus is sort of like, you didn't do the chain on purpose. So the distrust is like, coming back up again. Yeah, Jackie, you're gonna say something.
Something like really dangerous happened at the end of that attempt, like a huge rock fell or something, and
and
they're
like, separated.
Shit, like, did you get away safely? Like he was really scared for a minute,
Yeah.
Because I think it's a pretty quick scene, but basically Atreus is like, here's my plan. I'm gonna be a wolf and go do something that you don't quite understand, because it'll also happen off camera and you won't get to see it, and you're gonna grab his chain, and Kratos goes, wait, and he just Atreus just takes off. So the whole time you're like, and then you try to do it, but then also this some avalanche-y thing happens because Garm is a giant wolf, and you get scared that your son is an idiot, and he is, and then you're pretty much after that, you're like, that was stupid. Now we're gonna do it my way that doesn't put you in danger.
Yeah.
Oh, and also there's the lie, because that's the first time that Atreus transforms into a wolf in front of Kratos, and Kratos is like, doesn't he make some comments like, did Odin teach you that?
Yeah.
And it's like,
you're right.
He's like, what the fuck? You could do wolves now? Like, we've only seen the bear.
That's right.
That's true.
Yeah. And so it was just like, lots.
Right, he hasn't been able to control it up till now.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
this
he's
one
like, no, I learned
can't.
it somewhere else. And he's probably like in Asgard. And he's like, no, I can't tell you.
can't tell
and
you.
stuff. And it's like, here we go again.
Yeah.
Right.
So now parent says we do this my way. So,
Yeah.
Which is a pretty fun way in my book.
great fun way.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, it's the way
was a
that
fun fight.
we had to go down anyways at some point, I feel like. It's a fight, right? Yeah.
Fight.
Several
Kaylee,
stage.
tell us about this fight, son. Or,
Oh.
yeah.
I enjoyed it, although it made my heart hurt to hurt a dog. I just
Yeah.
I don't know why. It just
Well,
was
the sounds were brutal,
Totally.
too.
the
Yeah.
sounds, and like I'm playing this game, and my dog is like laying across my lap like while I'm playing this game, and I'm like, please don't listen, Luna, don't listen.
Right?
I don't mean it.
Well, set the stage for us, Kaylee. Like, what are we actually, what's...
You're in so you've got a big arena, and the Garm is like bouncing around.
I think it's
initially
bounding around. He's bounding around. Yeah.
He's bounding around. He's a wolf. He bounds. I think it starts by you just like running up and stabbing your blades into his face. Is kind of the cutscene that like starts it off. Just like this is going to be owie. And then there's projectiles that he can shoot at you.
Yeah, he like coughs up ice balls at you.
He coughs up
Yeah,
ice
that
balls.
move is kind of weird.
Yeah.
No realm tear attacks.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's almost weird that he doesn't realm tear
Oh, interesting.
in some way in the
you're
fight,
right.
but he
I
really
didn't-
doesn't.
Or to
was-
escape.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Or to do the same things like Nidhogg was doing. I was really expecting that because I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, this is another one that can do this. Like, which makes me wonder if it's not super controllable. Maybe it's just like a thing that happens and it just like doesn't know how to.
like he's just
Yeah,
doing
I
it
think that's right.
not on purpose.
Because so after this quick fight, you kind of get in this chase sequencey thing, and he does realm tear once or
It
twice
was
there.
not a quick fight for me.
Oh, okay.
so
Well,
the-
Jackie, tell us about the fight.
I don't know. I thought it was pretty hard. I died a few times. There was a second stage.
Yes.
It was hard for me to like switch gears to like freeze the chain. Now run up to the chain and yank it. Like I need to just shoot the thing all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, eventually you do once you get his health bar down, then they do the cutscene where you like choke him out with his own chain. And that was crazy.
That was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a sad. It's like, totally what Kaylee was saying, and kind of, the sounds that Billy mentioned and stuff. It's like he felt so bad. Like there was, I think the first part of that fight, because it was a couple stages where he kept following you. I think, there was a counter move that you made, and then he kind of falls down, and like he just yelps,
And he goes like,
right.
Yes!
And I was like, I felt bad.
and
Like,
you're just
stab.
going at him while he's down
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Shooting
heartbreaking.
porcupine spears into his face.
I was literally just like, I'm sorry.
I felt so bad because, like, at the end of the day, it was just a scared dog, essentially. You know what I mean? Like, and then the cutscene, right, where you're like, and he's dead. I feel terrible. I hate you, Kratos. I wanted Atreus' plan to work. Yeah, and then we find out.
Did anyone look inside of his mouth to see if there was a mask piece?
No, did you?
I didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, did you?
Clever.
That's a good idea. I didn't even think about it. I was too.
I mean, obviously they would have
too
told you if
disgusted
it
with
was
my
there,
gameplay.
but
But I did.
Yeah, it's just an Elden Ring. They walk you right up to it.
Yeah. But then Garm comes to life, back to life, which is a fun little chase, and you
Yeah.
realize that actually we can't
I
do
don't
this.
understand why that happened.
No, did we get an explanation on that?
Well, he just can't die for whatever reason. Maybe because he
'Cause he
is a
doesn't have-
hellhound, so he just
Oh,
revives in hell as himself, in a sense.
yeah.
That makes
That's
sense.
how I understood
That
it.
makes sense.
But a lot of
also-
things in this game happen just because blank word magic. So that
I
was
did
like,
appreciate how Atreus' way didn't work, and then Kratos' way didn't work.
Yeah.
And then they
And
run.
then
they run
Atreus
away.
is like, what do we do now? And Kratos is like, I don't know.
Yeah.
run.
This
Yeah.
is my trick. I can do this.
Don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The scenes reminded me so much of like a Jurassic Park ride at Universal.
Yeah.
Where
Totally.
like you're kind of going
Totally.
along and then T-Rex like
Yeah.
sticks his head in, and it's sort of animatronic-y, like he can't really touch you, but you're like, whoa, spooky, keep running. And then like that just happens a couple times.
Uh-huh.
I thought that was fun.
That was very fun.
Okay, well, someone tell me what ultimately does work, because I think it's really cool that this connects to some of the lore you said earlier, Jackie, right? I feel like we're having another baby.
Yeah, I was going to say. That's what I thought of, at least.
I think, so the thing that happens is that Atreus is like, they talk about how he's just like soulless and like just attacking without, just kind of without reason. And
Or that there was no soul to kill?
No soul to kill, something like that.
Maybe
and
that's why he's coming back, something confusing like that.
And which made sense to me. I'm like, okay, so if you remember, like the creatures that had their souls removed by, what's her name, Groa?
Yeah.
Not Groa. That's the prophet.
No. The giant grandmother.
Igorboda's grandma. Yeah. And they were kind of like, I wonder if they had any kind of agency or something like that. The snake that we met didn't seem to be able to move, but was alive still. So maybe Garm is like some sort of weird exception or like an early one of those, maybe.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, the ox cow thing that they found that didn't have a soul, he was walking around.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Doing cow things.
Yeah.
So I thought it was cool how Atreus is like, oh, well, I have this soul in my knife, and suddenly it clicks what soul that is, and it's Fenrir's soul.
It's Fenrir.
Yeah.
And it's Fenrir, Jackie.
I'm so happy. It's Fenrir.
Yeah. And that worked out nicely, right? With the lore that Jackie told us. It was like, and we kind of been seeing this, right? We've been seeing sort of how they've been sort of changing it a little bit to kind of get to those moments. Like the snake, we kind of made that connection.
Yeah.
And this now...
It's been growing.
Yeah. Yeah, and then now Fenrir is now in the mix and part of that
That was
whole
amazing.
story. That was cool,
it was
right?
So great. Because then Kratos was like, sit.
And he sits.
Yeah, and
He's so
like a good
cute.
boy.
He totally turned into a total good boy dog, which was great.
Such a good boy.
I hope that we really get to use Fenrir
I was gonna say
somehow, and this isn't just like
right.
a little bit of a throwaway thing, but because it's still what a cool element if there's a couple chapters or something coming up where you like really get him as a sidekick or something.
I think you will, because there is a point when they're in this next chapter when they're fighting the Einherjar.
I ain't hear ya.
I didn't hear ya. That they talk about how when you kill an Einherjar, they are.
Sorry.
I'm saying it right?
I don't know.
Who cares?
Anyway, when you kill one, because it's in battle, they go to Valhalla, which is in Asgard, and so Odin just reanimates them and sends them back. So they have an endless, infinite supply of undead soldiers. Boomers.
I ain't hear ya.
Oh God.
Sorry.
And what Garm was doing was opening up realm terrors and sending hellwalkers in. So these are the unworthy deaths that don't get to go to Valhalla. But does that mean that if they use hellwalkers as soldiers, that when they get killed, they'll be feeding Odin's army?
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Oh,
So
interesting.
Or do they just go back to hell? Yeah, I don't know.
No,
Like, did
because
you only
they're
get
dying
one
in
shot?
battle.
Yeah, but do you get a second shot at that? Or is it like your team red or blue and then you just stay on the team?
Yeah.
It is interesting though that like that is Ragnarok, right? Ragnarok is when armies of hell led by Loki rise against the armies of Asgard led by Odin.
Oh.
That's like the traditional mythology of it, I think. So
With that big giant thing that kills everyone, there's like an element of
Surtur.
a creature thing that kills everyone too.
Yeah, Surtur merged with Elsa.
Right.
Never heard of Elsa before.
The Frost Queen. I don't know who that is.
Well, no, I know.
Did you guys
I know
see
who you meant.
Did you guys see the lore marker in Hell that talked about, God, I don't remember the name now, but it talked about some person that uses a she, her pronoun that like swallows the dead or something? And it's like the ruler of Hell.
Yeah.
Alan read this?
Wait, is this the crow?
The
that
crow.
You talked to at
The
the
crow,
end?
right? It's the crow.
No.
I thought it was the crow that.
I didn't talk to a crow.
Yeah.
I thought the crow was the ruler. You can talk to the crow on a little side path at the end, and she's like, would you like 10 side quests? And I was like, nah, I'm good. And she was like, tell me when you're back. And I was like, I'm not coming back.
Run the other way.
That was
Damn,
sort of hidden, which is weird. I don't know why. That I was like, I went down that path and there was the giant crow, and I was like, oh, do I have to fight this thing now? I don't really want to. But then it's just like a side quest, which I haven't tried or don't know what to do.
I think she wants you to close all the realm tears that let the Hellwalkers out.
Oh, okay.
Maybe
I think that was the realm tears. Yeah. But yeah, we were like, we do not want to get into a fight with her. At least I think
so.
That's
That must be the third child of Loki.
We have one more child to create.
Yeah.
So
who is it?
Hell. It's Hell, isn't it? H-E-L.
Leader, yeah, the leader of Hell. Or Helheim. Helheim. But there, I think it's like H-R-A-E something is this creature's name. Rivesger.
And do you mean like then the lore marker that you found?
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
So yeah.
Who knows?
Well, there's one more kid.
Who's the last kid?
Yeah.
Who's the last kid?
In what I read in the Neil Gaiman, it's a young woman who on one side of her body looks like a rotting corpse and the other side looks like a normal person. And
Sexy.
Odin sends her to Helheim to rule over the dead.
I see.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm excited to see if we get that creature, what that means exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe after rewarding, does he like... Not that Atreus is old enough to be the person who picks somebody, but I wonder if like someone goes there to lead the armies of the dead afterward or
You're
something.
right, because the end of the lore marker said like this leader of Hell is, are they going to be dethroned? Is someone else going to take the throne, or are they going to have a longer reign for another 1,000 years or whatever?
That I do remember. Yep. There was something that I read that had
Alan
flavors.
piecing together notes he read.
Pull up the game codex.
The codex.
Well, while you do that, should
Codex.
we move to the next chapter?
Yes.
The next chapter where I got really excited about this game again.
Yeah.
Take it away, Kaylee. Keep going.
Oh, all right.
Creatures of Prophecy.
Creatures of Prophecy.
Oh, yeah.
We go back to Vanaheim, which is a cool landscape. And the whole thing, we get there, and there's like, we find out from another character who, I don't like how they're doing this. I'll go back to that. So you find out from another character.
But I'm back in the game.
You find out from another character that Freyr has been captured.
Yeah,
that
you go to Freyr's camp and it's just empty.
And it's just empty.
Oh, yeah.
Freyr and a bunch of the other ones have been captured. And Freya is currently like working on trying to figure out how to get some of them out. And then they're going to launch a whole like counterattack against the stronghold to get Freyr out. And in the meantime, this character tells you and Atreus like the sun and the moon is gone. Like, so something's going on with the wolves, Skull and Hati. Can you go check them out while we're doing this? And it's like, okay, yes. But the character, this is the thing I didn't like. So the character that tells you all that stuff is this guy who is also sometimes a boar, who apparently we shot in the first game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this is like the second time they've done this, so they've just like tossed a character at you from the first game. I don't remember at all. I didn't remember that scene.
Well,
You're not...
We shot a magic boar? Okay.
Yeah.
I believe you.
Yeah,
it's been 5 years.
Yeah, it was It was like a very Freya like
yes.
You have to help save it, I think. Is like one of the missions or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah, and that's how you meet her. And she's kind of like
It's how you meet Freya,
Yeah.
but the thing that's...
I just thought it was a boar that was just like she's into
that's the
animals
thing.
and
So,
a
like,
turtle. You know what I mean? Like,
the thing that's a little sillier about it is in the first one, not like just a boar. I think it is potentially a magical boar, or you learn it's Freya's boar. But like to add on now suddenly, like you didn't know it was a talking man who could shapeshift. It's like, okay, hold on, buddy.
Like you could have revealed that sooner, and we probably wouldn't have shot you. You know, like if that had been true. So I don't know. It just feels like they keep doing this, and it's like I don't remember the game. Like, can we please just dumb it just a little bit down there? Like, you know, reintroduce this character. It's like, I don't know. And it just feels so weirdly forced that, like, no, you have connections to everybody that we're ever going to introduce to you. And, like, I can meet new people, you know?
Yeah.
I just can make new friends.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough making new friends.
It is.
Yeah, it was a funny way to sort of add a new character. And, like, of course, you know, you find an empty camp and it's like, oh, you need someone to tell you what's happening. So, hey, you remember that boar that you shot like 5 years ago? Well, now he's the whole character and you get to help him. And hey, look, Mimir's talking about how he knows him too. And hey, quip here, quip that. Your old head's ass person. You know. So that was fun. And then
Isn't that a twist? Is that a twist? Did we do it? No, that's not a twist. That's a new made up bullshit thing.
We don't really hang out with him too much, right? It just takes us somewhere and then that's it, right?
Yeah.
He's got a really cool character design looking thing. Love the idea that there's another shapeshifter.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then we never hear from him again.
Yeah.
That's true. We don't even.
He also is like a shitty one. He's like, I'm a shapeshifter, but I can only shape into a boar, and even when you're going to shoot me, I can't seem to shape out of it. So I'm a plot device.
Yes.
Yeah.
With cool tattoos.
Yeah, but the wolves, guys. But the wolves.
The wolves.
The
They're
wolves.
just
Yeah.
sleeping.
Yeah, they're just taking a little
you
nap.
get to them and they're just little tired, good old boys.
Yeah.
Not old boys, good boys.
Good
Sorry.
boys.
Well, I'm pretty sure one of them's a girl.
Yeah,
Right.
but you don't. That doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They're still good boys.
Yeah.
They could be cool.
I am a
Good
little
pups. Good pups.
disappointed. I guess you wouldn't be able to pet them here, but
Yeah, why can't you pet the dog?
well,
can't
I guess
we
they're
pet the
sleeping.
dog?
I guess you
I
can't.
know.
There's no consent. I don't know. But
Just the little noses need a scritch.
yeah, a little scritch would be. Although there was a time, if you guys were back at the old house in Midgard, if you went back to the wolves, you could
Yes.
pet them there.
I did.
Did you do that?
You could pet. You could pet those boys.
Yeah, you could pet those boys.
Yeah.
So I was happy that they added that in because anytime you can pet a dog in a game, that's a win in my book.
Yep.
But we didn't get to pet these even after the mission, so I was
Yeah,
kind
it
of sad.
seems like a huge. I hope they patch that in. What are you guys doing? Come on.
Yeah, patch
Yeah.
it in. You gotta patch
We want to pet the wolves.
all the
Yeah.
wolves. Every animal. Just
big
add
ones.
a little X. Pet.
Yep.
Done.
Can pet.
Easy.
Yeah, developers get on that.
You know, it's funny
That
in
would
an
be
age where everyone's trying to figure out how to like monetize cosmetics and all this stuff. I think I would genuinely pay $5 for a DLC add-on that just has me pet the wolves.
Can you
Just
imagine
pet the animals.
Ratatosker?
Pet the animals DLC.
So like Ratatosker's a squirrel. What if you got the
Aw.
ability to
Yeah.
pet?
I mean, there's so many animals we've met already. So like, just pet the poor whale, the poor oil whale.
Aw.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
Oh, just
There's something there.
Just
I
a
mean,
comfort button.
yeah, just
The the hafuga, the jellyfish.
Yeah.
the
The
jellyfishes. Yeah,
And there's an electrocution animation with
Yeah.
that one. That would be amazing. In this DLC pack, they have like surprising animations for different ones. So like, Ratty like bites you or something.
Yes. Or like one of his one of his little spirit animals likes it and one of them doesn't, you know,
Right.
and bites you.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
So, okay, I just Googled it and I found what the lore marker says. It says, Mighty Hraesvelgr. Hraesvelgr,
That sounds right.
Swallower of the Dead, author of Winds, is not the first to claim the title of Hel, nor will she be the last. Since the time of the earliest frosts, 9 rulers have fulfilled the role, with her tenure having lasted the longest. But when will her dominion end? And will she be supplanted by force or abandon her title willingly? The dead watch and wait. So is that the crow that you meet?
I think
Feel
so.
like it
yeah,
is.
I think so. I feel like we see
'Cause
that crow in the first game too.
I was gonna say that's why I'm thinking that is because
Very
in the
briefly.
first game I feel like you knew it was the ruler of the dead or something.
Yeah.
Cool.
But it does sound like
have to
it
go
could
back.
be. They're kind of leaving it open for potentially a new ruler. So
Yeah.
Or and it seems
Yeah.
and they're leaving it open for something willing as well.
Right.
You know,
Right.
where it's like maybe that's something that you trade to like get the armies or something like that. Is
Oh.
you know, like a giant soul.
Just trade a marble.
Cool.
Trade a marble.
Yeah, yeah, and it does a cool weird thing where instead of a crow, you become a chick,
Oh.
Some giant chick.
some giant chick.
Let's maybe get back on track.
Okay.
Yeah, we're back.
Anyway.
We're about to step into some weird.
We left Vanaheim.
Yes. So we're in Vanaheim, and we get the wolves. We release the moon, so we find out the moon has been captured by the Ain't Here Yets, and
Yeah.
they've captured the moon in a device that is cold like Helheim.
Yeah.
And so it's clear that this is what Heimdall had been sent to go retrieve,
Yeah.
and was clearly the whole point of getting them into hell. Is
Which
to-
wasn't the
yeah.
mask, so that was interesting. I really thought
Right,
he
yeah.
maybe picked up the other piece of the mask, so it wasn't. It was just to
Right.
capture some device to steal the moon.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which it looked really cool. It was like two clasped hands, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Clasped hands.
But that was some cool combat, very challenging sort of areas. Like they really amped up like the enemy presence, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Just felt like there were a lot of them to deal with all at once.
Big arena for the
Big
moon
arena.
thief and stuff.
Yeah. And the
that
Bifrost.
held me up.
It's annoying.
Held me up for a minute.
Me too. That one did.
Which one?
Getting the moon container.
Oh yeah, the wyvern.
The one with the
wyvern.
wyvern?
It's just dragon, right?
Wyvern?
It's wyvern.
No, that one was quick. Not too many attempts on that one, but the big arena
With all the Ain't Here Yous?
all
yeah.
I'm
Is that-
here is.
Is that where we sprung Freyr? That one?
No, that happens
No.
after, actually.
Oh, okay.
This is just, Alan just blew through it. He doesn't remember it as like a set piece. It's just like, it's one of those rooms where I think there's like 2 levels to it. It's a big circle dome and you can like hop between different gaps and there's different like environmental things you can pick up with your blades and throw them at people. And you just have like an infinite wave of people like popping out of nowhere fighting you for a while.
Yep.
That's where the
And then the moon container is like on the ground in the center.
Okay. Yes, I remember this.
And then someone steals it right when you've killed everyone.
And then they blink away. They have a little blink special move. Yeah, I do remember. I did die a couple times in this area too. They are the Bifrost enemies are getting difficult.
The Bifrost
There's
stuff is
Bifrost
tough.
on you, brother.
There's Bifrost. It's everywhere, brother.
I have a really good strategy because I can't avoid getting hit by Bifrost. So I use that shield ability where if you shield bash somebody, it cures your status, your Bifrost.
Is that a?
It's
that's a
one
shield?
of the amulet. I think it's an amulet thing.
That you put in the shield? Or is it separate?
You just equip it in the amulet,
Oh, okay. Sorry.
and then when you shield bash somebody, it removes your Bifrost.
There's
Or
an
is it a
amulet-
rond?
I don't know.
No, I have an amulet as well that's similar, and that the one that I
There's so
use is
many things.
one that like on attack. So when you attack, it heals a small amount. So like when you hit, and so I have that one. Yeah,
You're right.
okay.
So, I have that one equipped, and then I also have, I remember, it's the Rond of Purification
Oh,
on my shield.
Oh, okay.
interesting.
There's
And
so
so,
many
you-
there's so many little things you can add to your weapon between like the little gems and like the ronds and then like even the skill tree has like little
The
like
handles.
differentiators and it's the depth is like a little overwhelming with just I forget like which amulet it goes where. My whole menu lights up when I go into the menu. It's like everything's new. You bought.
Does anyone else?
You found stuff.
Does anyone else have a permanent exclamation mark on weapons?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
I recently
drives me insane.
Jimbo had that too.
I've looked in every menu in the weapons and I can't find a new thing or no.
It's just a bug.
Is it a
Just
bug?
Mine's permanent
It's a
because
bug.
I just don't look at my
Really?
shit anymore.
You just
I
collect
just am over it. When I upgrade gear now, I don't even look at the other gear. I've just decided this is the gear that's going to the end. I only go to what I've
There's
equipped.
good
I
shit in
only
there,
upgrade
Billy.
that, and I just move on.
Yeah,
I've been starting to play with my build a little bit more. Now they've got like the amulet slots,
yeah.
the different like armors that do different bonuses. Like I have started to like narrow in where
Billy's just shaking his head.
like I like Billy's like no,
I
that's
ain't
fine.
here for it.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
You're here for what we got up to in Vanaheim.
Well, yeah. Okay, Vanaheim.
No.
Yes, I loved that. Well, I guess here's the thing is I'm only playing on normal, whatever they call normal. And I do die, but not so often or hit such a wall that it makes me really desire to look at the gear. And because I don't have the true need, I'm just like, yeah, I guess this gear's pretty good. Let's keep going.
You could probably do it with
fair.
the gear. There's some little things you could definitely like enhance, like kind of the stuff that Jackie and Kaylee are saying. But yeah, I haven't really. I think I'm sticking with the Linda, just upgrading the Linda armor the whole way so far.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
See, I don't do a ton of barefisted stuff, so the bonus from that doesn't really speak to me.
Oh yeah. Just
Right now I'm
bare
doing a lot
knuckle.
of the I did learn in this last chapter, I did learn that upgrading it actually does change the look of the armor a little bit.
Really?
Oh.
I didn't notice
Yes,
that.
at different levels.
Oh,
So
I
I've
didn't know
been
that
using I've been using Soul's armor, and when you first get it, it's kind of like a dusty red. But now that I've upgraded it, it's like bright orange.
Ooh.
Oh.
It's very and much shinier, and it
That's
has more
cool.
detail in it. They actually like change the way it
Wow.
looks.
That kind of makes sense, because like Brock consider, upgrading it for you when you get those upgrades. That's
I want to
cool.
put a pauldron on because I like how they look.
What's that
That's
for?
the one that's just like he's kind of bare chested and he just has a big spike on his shoulder.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's what I gravitate towards. Oh yeah, no, I'm not ever gonna put on anything that covers that man's nipples. No,
All right.
that just defeats the point of Kratos.
Yeah. Wow.
His pointy nipples.
Just yeah.
It's real hypocrite
Not because
stuff,
of the nipples,
you know?
because I feel like he would have rebel against it himself.
Gotcha.
Wow.
True to the character.
Okay.
Surprised we didn't talk
Sure.
about those in
Thanks.
Helheim. Helheim
Yeah.
nipples are pretty cold.
That was a real quick cover up for when Jimbo's listening.
He doesn't listen. I'm just kidding.
Okay. So you get the moon and you take it back, and you get a really cool cutscene.
Yeah, it
Yes.
creates an eclipse. It's nuts. And then Loki kind of like hesitates to shoot because they saw it in the shrine. He's like,
Oh.
hey, we are like doing everything that the shrine said we would do. And then, are we walking straight into Ragnarok? And he like doesn't want to shoot the arrow at the moon so that they can reset the cycle. But then what did Kratos say?
It's something to do with we're not doing it because it's what was said, but we're doing it because it's what we choose to do, or because it's the right thing to do, or something like that.
What's necessary?
What's necessary.
Yeah.
There you
Yeah.
go. That's a Kratos-y way to say it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it comes
Because
up.
it is necessary.
It comes up a couple times because Atreus keeps harping on like we're doing it again. We're gonna start doing the prophecies, and then he's just like, yeah, don't worry about it. Just don't stop thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't mention, but like there is that bit of dialogue when they're in Helheim where they finally find out that each other knows that Kratos is going to die. Like Kratos knew
Oh,
before,
yeah.
and now Atreus
Right.
knows that Kratos knows, and so now they're just kind of talking about. I think that's the reason Atreus hesitates in these instances. It's like,
That's what it is, 100%. He doesn't care
Yeah.
about Ragnarok.
no,
He
just doesn't want his dad to die.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. He doesn't want to start the whole process.
Mhm.
And when did we learn as Kratos? Was that a game one thing that we learned? I was like, when he was
I
like,
don't
I knew. I
remember.
was like, I did?
Yeah.
Oh.
He said-
When did-
Apparently.
He said he saw it in the shrine or saw it in the.
Yeah, so was that end of game one?
And I guess
Was it?
Loki didn't see it, or
Yeah, how did Loki not see it?
Oh,
Because he was a self-absorbed brat of a child.
That's true. He's
Yeah.
like, my name's Loki. And
Was that-
you know what? I do
Uh-huh.
kind of almost remember a scene where Kratos pulls back a curtain, sees it, and then just doesn't say anything. But maybe we don't see what he saw. I can't remember.
It's possible. That's possible because it was at the end when they got to the mountain
Yeah.
top So by then, like, Loki was pretty absorbed, but the whole point they were there was like the ashes of their mom and stuff. So I could see that happening. Someone, I don't remember though. It wasn't like it was 5 years ago, right? So.
All right, I'm dying to talk about what happens at the end of this. So someone take me there. What happens? You wake up the wolves. The reason not the only reason, but basically you're in a realm where pathways open and close based on what time of day it is.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Which I didn't.
And
know.
now because you've helped the wolves, they give you, what do they call the thing they give you? But
Scepter?
a scepter to essentially call upon them to change times of day, only at certain places, which is going to give you access to get to. The storytelling is so convoluted sometimes where I'm like, wait, why am I here again? Like, I like that I'm here for the wolves, but then they give you a thing, right? They're like, now this is going to be used at this spot to get to what your original quest was like 2 hours ago, which even that was sort of half-baked, where you're like, you're here because a boar man told you, and then you're like, wait, but why am I really here again? You're really just here because Freya's here. And you came to get her. In doing so, you found out this other thing that led to that other thing that led to that other thing that led to the thing. And you're like, wait, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
There's a few moments like that sometimes where I'm just like, I almost think it's really just because it's all so condensed that they like throw you back to like, remember you're going to go help Freyr. And you're like, no, I do not. But okay.
It's like, there's dogs.
Whatever.
So dogs. And I was like, why are we?
I was like, why did I save the dogs again?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just to open pathways to get to Freyr's
exactly.
stronghold that he's being held in. Right.
Which you don't even care about either. That's only to get Freya stopped focusing on this shit because she was going to build an army. So it's like you're really just here to check in on Freya.
Yeah, right.
Which turned into you saving the boys. So anyway, are we ready to go save Freyr?
Yeah.
Save him.
Okay.
Time to save him.
Alan, take us away. What happens when we go to finally save Freyr?
So, we finally save. Oh, actually, now I'm trying to remember. Yeah. So we get to the part of the stronghold, and old Heimdall pops up, which is completely not where I don't think any of us expected to see him.
100% not.
Yeah.
No, it
Why
was,
is he in Vanaheim?
it was a complete plot twist, and it was a very like it was a welcome surprise, and like that it kind of got me like my heart pumping a bit because I was like, oh, I wasn't really expecting to, I haven't even been playing with the spear the whole time. I know it, fuck. You know what I mean? So it was kind of one of those moments where I'm like, I'm not really ready to fight him right now because it's kind of the first god we'd be fighting, really.
Thought it would be in Asgard.
Yeah,
right.
Completely, right? I thought it was going to be on our like journey to Asgard, how we get there, and that's when we'll encounter him. So that was definitely a left turn for me, and it was exciting. I mean, I thought this whole fight was I guess I don't know how to say. It was definitely challenging, and it was definitely exciting. It was a gimmicky fight you knew you were going into. Not like, I'm thinking of like, what was that one in Elden Ring?
Right card,
where you knew you had to use the whatever, the serpent weapon or whatever. But in this one, it was different because like you actually had to use it like certain ways and different ways and throughout the fight. Whereas the other one was kind of just like a hold R1 and then let go, you know what I mean? So that one fell flat, where this one felt like more challenging and more like invested in like the story behind the spear and stuff, where the other one was just like you just picked it up and like, okay, cool.
And you still had to use your brain.
Yeah.
Because it kept changing. Every so often he would change his moveset and you'd have to adapt how you were using the spear. Yeah. And there were no hints. No. And I loved it.
No, yeah, there weren't.
Yes.
There weren't any hints. It definitely gave us the frustration, even though I was like, right, we have the weapon. I'm just not using it right. I'm not doing it the right way. But it was fun. It was a fun one.
I just love how there were so many different ways that you could use the spear, because you could throw it and then it would stay embedded in the ground, so you could still detonate it.
Right.
If he was close to it.
Which I think you have to do.
There was part, right?
A point, because there's like a point where I think the very beginning you can basically get one off, I'm a little blanking on if he just catches it and you blow it up, or if you just embed it in him and blow it up. But it's like once he learns that, he starts knocking the spears away. And then, Jackie, I think you actually have to like come up with a new tactic, which is like you can embed it in the ground. And as he walks up, explode him again. So it was fun to have to like think on your feet in the fight and change what you're doing.
Create like a minefield.
Yeah.
It was so much fun.
Oh yeah, and there were so many things that were like the things that you knew, like even the specials on the weapon. Like I have like. What's the one that you put on the Instagram story? The 1,000 thrusts.
The thrust of 1,000 soldiers. It's amazing. I love it.
Yeah. So even that one, he dodged the shit out of that one, and I was like, oh shit, oh no. That was like a fun.
Do you
little
have
thing
the one where it rains down spears in an area?
I love that one.
Does that happen?
It.
That only happens after the thrust of 1,000 soldiers, right?
Yeah,
Allie gets it.
It's a heavy.
I was already waiting for that. I was already waiting for. I was like, oh, there goes Billy. I'm like, finish it.
Damn.
Wow.
Walked right into that one.
It's weird, holding up a mirror and seeing who I really am. It's disgusting. When Alan's like, yeah, I already got you. And it's like, oh no. Who am I?
Billy, you were very anticipatory of this moment, of our first fight against a god. What were your thoughts?
I had really mixed feelings with the very, very initial setup when he walked out, similar to Alan. So like at first, well, not really at first, but just like I felt two conflicting emotions at the same time. On one hand, I'm like, I didn't expect this right now, so that is kind of clever. And we know, or we assume, we're going to see this through to the end because it's also in prophecy, and we're playing a video game called God of War, and like that's what our past was, and like we're probably going to finally in this game get to kill a god. On the other hand, it felt a little anticlimactic when he walked out, because we had like 3 chapters ago built up this whole thing about why we're getting the spear, making the spear, we're going to go get Atreus, and then he just comes and we're like, we just keep talking about for like 2 chapters how we're done with that whole Heimdall thing. We're not going to do it. We're not going to Asgard at all. And I was like, that's kind of a bummer, because that alternate reality of a game sounded like really fun. I kind of want to play the one where Atreus didn't come back and we go on a rampage through Asgard. Like that's almost my dream game, is where that actually happens.
Yeah.
So the fact that then we're like, no, you are going to fight Heimdall now. I was like, oh, okay. It kind of now like came out of nowhere, so I didn't have like a big build up anymore, because I'm just like, oh, I was just sprinting, I wasn't even paying attention, and now Heimdall's here. Like, that's cool. The only other kind of letdown is it's like, and you're gonna fight him in this super nondescript like jungle arena, as opposed to in Asgard or somewhere really interesting. And I was like, that's fine. We're it's just like nondescript jungle, but then the fun of the fight made up for that stuff for me. Like, I didn't really love how it just plopped in, but ultimately the fun of fighting with a spear, he was such a unique enemy with his... I actually have a few questions for you guys, because I didn't understand half of what they were trying to tell me. But like, okay, so as you're fighting him more, then it tells you something in the little block while you're fighting, and I couldn't read it in time, and it has something to do with him realm shifting, and if you dodge while he is, then he slows down, or like, what was the logic of the fight? I'm so confused. Like, I understood it on a video game level, that I'm now beating him. Got it. What was the lore behind how any of that was supposed to be working out?
I don't think there was lore.
So at the end of the fight, you get his sword hilt, and the sword hilt you can now equip as an amulet, or one of your the thing that you can do with L1 circle, and that does allow you to do a realm shift every now and then. So it seems like this is a special weapon that Heimdall has. It's not necessarily one of his innate abilities, but it's like a weapon he was gifted by Odin, I think. That allows him this ability to slow down time.
And why was it that when he used it halfway through the fight, it made you better at punching him?
It made you better at punching him?
If you dodged...
Yeah, remember, if you dodged his realm
if you dodged
shift
at the right time,
then you could just like wail on him for a while. Why was that?
Because I think that's like, because he wouldn't have expected it. That's
so it's almost like you moved while he was moving to your position, and now you're able to punch him.
Yeah, because if you think of it as Heimdall first person, like, I'm going to realm shift, I'm going to punch you, and you're not going to be able to react in time. But
so he's stuck in the movement. is sort of the
Yeah.
idea. Like he's stuck
Yeah.
following through on his pre-plan, and now you're able to
Right.
intercept him on like that.
Maybe, yeah.
Because his whole thing is being able to anticipate what everyone else is going to do at any moment in time, and it seems like that slips. Maybe
Yeah.
there's a maybe
Just
there's
as you're
like a-
beating him up some, you've kind of fucked up his ability. So if you catch him
Yes.
in the middle,
Yeah.
Yep, you
Okay.
can really fuck it up. Yeah,
that's cool. I
thought
didn't
it was-
understand that while it was happening, but that was cool, and I liked the shift in the fight. How like
I did
different-
not see that. I did not see that pop up. If that pop up existed, I just dodged. I didn't.
Yeah.
There was no.
Yeah.
I never slowed him down.
I did.
There was
I did see it, but
text.
like you couldn't. Yeah, I wasn't. I don't think I was able to read it in time before stuff was happening. I don't think it, like again, it was one of those when we first got the spear, right?
Yep.
I just knew that like, hey, yellow, counter. Red, dodge.
Yeah.
That's how my gamer brain just went that, and I was like, "Oh, it's working. I'll keep doing that when he does that." On to the next thing. That's all, and it worked. Yeah, so
It worked.
yeah.
So one of my favorite things here, after you do a lot of that fighting, you get a little bit more of a classic God of War scene where. So were there 3 stages to this
I
fight?
think there were.
Yeah.
So
So the beast, right, where he's riding the beast.
He's riding the beast.
Yeah.
Well, then there's there's kind of like a lot of little miniature stages too, where because it's like if you use the spear one way, then he changes tactics. So all that's really fun. But anyway, you kind of like finish the first phase by throwing the spear into his arm and pinning him to the wall.
Yeah.
And Kratos is kind of trying to reason with him, and of course you can't.
But
Heimdall's
Heimdall was whimpering. He's like, "No, stop!" You know.
Mm-hmm.
But then isn't Kratos like kind of trying to reason with him and like we can stop this, and Heimdall's like, no, I'll always come for you or something crazy.
Yeah. Well, right? Doesn't he say something that he's going to come for the kid?
Yeah, he's like, I'm still gonna come for your kid or
Right.
something.
And that
So
was it.
then
That was it.
Kratos blows up the spear that's in his arm, and it blows his arm
That was pretty.
off.
That was pretty awesome.
So
Yeah.
cool.
That was cool. Yeah.
That was amazing. I was
Falls
like, I hope
down.
you enjoyed having blood.
Yeah.
That was dope.
Now you don't.
And then
I
you
thought that-
do
so, like-
another phase. Go ahead.
The interesting thing though is that Kratos is about to spare him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kratos
He
is
really
about
is.
to walk away from the fight and from this destiny and all this stuff. And then Heimdall's like, you spare me and I'm going to kill your child. And so, of course, he blows up his arm.
Yeah.
Like, that's just good parenting.
Yep.
So I like,
Heimdall's too prideful. He can't stand being pitied.
He's such a
Right.
snot.
Receiving mercy.
Yeah. Totally.
yeah. But like, it was such an interesting way from my perspective to like make the prophecy have to come true.
Yeah.
Because like, clearly Kratos was like, nope, we are going to not be this person.
Mhm.
But Kratos is not going to defend Atreus. Like if there's a way that he will spare Atreus from any kind of pain, he will do that. And it's not because he's the god of war, it's because he's Atreus' dad.
Yeah.
And happens to also maybe be the god of war. But I don't know. I thought it was really cool how it was just like, well, we're not making this decision because we kill gods. We're making this decision because we're trying to be a good father.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
it was necessary, not because it was written.
Yeah. Necessary. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, and it's not necessarily, and it is in his nature, but not the nature that he thought about when they left the Norns.
Mm-hmm.
Like the nature he thought about was the nature that kills gods.
Mm-hmm.
But the nature that the Norns were talking about was the nature that is, protective of his family.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Oh, we didn't mention the promise that they made at the end of Helheim.
oh yeah.
We keep getting dragged to Helheim, but yeah, I also am remembering this, and I think this is a good thing to bring up. It was it was okay, maybe I'm thinking of something else. I was thinking of like Kratos saying I'm sorry.
That was at the end of Helheim.
Yeah, that was at the end of yeah, which is always like the parenting thing that you're like, yeah, parents don't do that. Well, some parents don't. But yeah, so that was one of those things where you're like, oh wow, last thing I thought Kratos was gonna say is I'm sorry.
Yeah, he was like, I'm slipping back into my old ways,
Right.
being mistrustful and angry, and I drove you away, and I'm sorry. And then Atreus has like the best line ever. Do you remember
Which
what
is?
it was? No one remembers.
No, I don't.
He says,
I stopped that. I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry, be better.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Okay, I do remember.
I played this like 2 hours ago, so that's
yeah,
why
okay.
I remember.
No, you're right though, and it was
Yeah,
great
that
because
was
it's the
great. That was
callback
great.
of what Kratos always
Right.
says.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
that was awesome.
That was good.
Yeah. So then their promise, Loki is like, I will always think, they are both worried about the other one surviving without each other, right?
Yeah.
Like, how are you going to manage without me? And Loki says, I promise that I will always think of your voice in my mind. What would Dad say when I'm not with you? And I want you to promise the same.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just so sweet.
It's very heartwarming.
I want a
They're,
t-shirt
like,
that says, "What would
conscious.
Kratos do?" I want that t-shirt.
Oh god.
WWKD.
Alan, make it so.
Oh, yeah, it will be so. It will be so.
There we go.
So, so let's teleport back to the fight. We have to wrap up real quick by basically. So then he doesn't think. Maybe he does. Maybe part of why he was walking away is because he's thinking, "What would Atreus do?" But then, that's not going to work out. So instead, he decides to punch Heimdall's face in to a bloody pulp. And it's while Mimir is watching. He falls into this perfect.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
There's the
Yeah.
whole
It's like
third
watching-
phase of this fight, and that third phase where he's got like the Bifrost arm.
Arm.
Bifrost.
That one took me quite a few
That was-
tries.
that was-
I
that
was
was fun.
like, yeah, it was really interesting. You had to get the dodges just right,
Yeah.
or figure out how to counter that thing. For some reason, my parry game was off on that day, and so I was like, did not have. Yeah, that was hard.
Yeah.
I just loved the flow of switching between like hitting him with spears, switching to the axe for a bit, then later when I have an opportunity, switching back to the spear and just blowing it up while he's trying to do something else, and like just bouncing between the stuff felt a lot better in this fight than it does in the world. Like fighting minions to me is not as fun as like this fight was.
I stayed on the spear the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh, you never
Yeah, me
changed?
too. I never changed because I just assumed this was the spear fight. So, yeah. And he had that grab too. That was kind of annoying. Well, that was the grab, right? The Bifrost grab.
Grab was annoying.
It got me a couple times.
Yeah.
I hate grabs.
I think the like Bifrost power ups or whatever, the shield stuff, like really, really saved my butt this time. Because I didn't have that. I had more trouble with Garm than with Heimdall.
Okay.
Oh,
Actually, no. I had more trouble with the two friggin' crocodiles than I did with Heimdall.
We skipped right over.
Yeah, the
two crocodiles are a whole
Not
other
worth
thing.
mentioning.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
worth mentioning.
Still annoying.
They
Still
sucked.
annoying.
They sucked.
Yeah.
And let's kill Heimdall.
Yeah.
Billy, how do we kill Heimdall?
Well, yeah, you basically just keep punching him in the face, and then it turns into a choke, right?
Right.
You choke him out.
Yep. His eyes.
I thought it was
Fade away.
kind of funny because then Mimir is just like, "That was brutal." Where I was like, "Shut the fuck up,
Yeah.
Mimir."
Yeah,
Bitch said he was gonna kill Atreus. Why are you such a
Like,
negative Nelly?
Mimir was there the whole time. He should have understood that it was necessary. You can't. He couldn't live. He should not have been allowed to live.
Yeah, like come on. dude.
Yeah.
But Kratos is even shook by it afterwards.
I think so too. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I think he thought he saw there was a door, like that door that he was going to walk through, and that was the way out from his nature, right? Like,
Yeah.
and he kind of gave him the out, and it was like over, and and I think he kind of was surprised that he didn't stop himself from doing it. In a way, at the end, I feel like even after the fight's over, there's a couple of quips here and there with Mimir, and I think even when they hook up back with Atreus and the rest of the band, he's kind of the little.
He doesn't really say anything for a while.
Yeah. But and the face after he like killed Heimdall, you kind of tell like it was necessary.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was necessary though.
Yeah, I mean,
don't
it
know.
was.
It's like it was.
necessary.
So like,
we all had to kill Heimdall. That had to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, that Mimir and Heimdall's face at the end, where like he's just staring at the whole like murder happening.
Yeah.
That was great framing. and pretty brutal all around.
So after that, I don't necessarily want to talk about all the miniature fights, but you go and you save what's his face, and you have to fight little guys a lot, Freyr, and you fight
It was
people.
fun. It was fun to carry him and run.
Oh,
Yeah, that was a
liked
fun
that
run
bit.
sequence.
that was an interesting.
That was
cool.
cool.
Yeah, we got the quick time events again.
Yeah, quick time buttons
they
where
felt-
it's like hit R1 to hit the wolf, and then hit circle to knock a tree down or something, and like it'll collapse a whole. Yeah, that was cool. And then you get on the flying Viking boat,
Yeah,
which is
that.
which is like a sail that inflates. It's like a pull in case of emergency situation.
Which is also from story time. It's one of the gifts from the dwarves.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. I didn't. Yeah, it's like the portable flying boat. Yeah, flying ship. I didn't really. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, it was kind of that. That was the little moment where Atreus is like, I knew it was going to do that.
It was silly.
How'd you
There
guys,
was one thing, or go ahead, Alan.
No,
then I have
this
to.
this might be the same thing. I was going to ask
Okay.
how you felt about the rando traveler.
Yes.
That was so stupid.
Sacrificing
Oh.
himself.
Okay, now wait a minute.
I know you guys are so invested in this character.
I'm gonna fight
was
Billy on this.
crazy.
I loved that shit.
What?
I
Oh my
loved
God.
that shit.
All right,
No,
Kaylee.
that
You go first, and then I'm
man.
gonna
So the boat gets
You're gonna-
attacked by dragons, right?
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
boat
right.
gets attacked by dragons
for seemingly
And-
no reason.
Yeah.
I
for
think.
seemingly no reason. And they're in trouble, and because they can't fight because they're on a fucking boat in the middle of the sky. I'm like,
That
shouldn't you guys
apparently
have been
has
prepared
one
for this?
speed, which is float.
I'm like, is there not like Freya can shoot arrows like crazy, and like you've got
We
elves.
just killed a motherfucking
killed a god.
Yeah.
So I do agree there was like, okay, it should not have been that dire. But I don't know, man. That whole scene where the guy just like gets up and he's like, I'm gonna do this. And you can just see him like walk past and Kratos
Kaylee,
like
who?
looks
What
at
was
him.
his name? Which guy? What was his
Birger.
name?
Okay.
No,
It is. It's Birger.
it was that guy.
Yeah, it was.
I
Who
like
is
that
that?
guy.
I think his name
That
was Who
one
is
guy.
that?
I think it was
I'm really
the
invested.
guy that looked cool
I did the whole
first time
side
you went
quest.
to Freyr's camp, but you don't even get to talk to.
You don't even get
No.
to talk to him. He's
No.
just
You
never
very
get to talk to him.
stoic and like
very
whatever.
I
He's
don't
got a
know what
cool
it was.
dog.
It was just such a cool thing. Like after all this moment about like you killing the Heimdall and the obvious internal turmoil that took, this moment of valor just kind of was like, this is, I don't know, you go back to like the God of War and you think about like heroic aspects and it's like, okay, here's this dude doing this heroic thing and throwing himself to his death essentially, but like in a really badass way.
I love how he just screamed.
Yeah. For Vanaheim.
Kaylee,
I'm
this
sorry.
is. It was
I
gonna
loved it.
happen. It was gonna happen eventually, but this is
know, we're-
the only time you have not persuaded me to take
I
the
know.
more sophisticated route and go like, oh. Wow,
Well, I'm not gonna
you
argue that it's
really helped me see the
sophisticated.
light, and I was being a whiny bitch, and that's actually like pretty cool storytelling. This was so fucking stupid, because like
Yeah,
as a player, you
Okay.
do not even understand why the stakes are high. Like
Yeah.
if Heimdall was attacking the boat and they were going to like buy time for something, maybe, but like we just got done killing a god and running full speed where all like everyone's fighting us, and all we have to do is click single buttons, and we're killing like 10 people at a time, and then we're just sitting on a peaceful boat that for some reason dragons are fighting. We have
1,000 feet in the air.
yeah, we've done nothing yet or understood like why the stakes are high, and then dude just jumps off the boat.
That's cool.
And for some reason his jump is perfectly timed and both of the dragons are gone and
Yeah.
there's no more problems. Then we float to safety. And the one dude, they keep hamming up like the one guy is like,
they were,
I can't believe he's gone. And I was like, what is happening?
yeah.
And then there's the dog. Did you guys do the side quest?
No.
I'm in it.
I spent so many hours on this side quest.
I don't think I
So-
did the side quest just. Yeah.
It unlocks a new area, which and that area is where and that area is very much worth exploring from a lore perspective.
Okay.
So when you get back to camp, and then there's like a whole bit about like getting Freyr to Sindri's house so that Freya could treat him and all that jazz. The dog is barking. The dog whose ball we retrieved.
The pig dog.
Is like pig dog with a good nose is like barking and making a fuss. If
The
you
truffle
follow
pig.
the truffle pig, if you follow that dog through like a little, John follows footprints in the thing. It like waits for you on shorelines. You have to paddle through stuff.
Oh, okay.
If you follow it, it leads you to a spot where you can launch the boat, which you are gifted at the end of that, at the end of that whole quest. He's like, here's my boat.
Yeah.
Freyr was just like, you keep it.
Take it. Which is cool. And so like there's a spot where you can now launch that boat from. And if you launch it, it takes you to Birger. He survives the fall. And you get to go rescue him.
Oh, okay.
And that whole process, Billy, but wait.
Oh my God, stop rolling your eyes.
And I'm going to spoil it a smidgen.
Okay.
Please.
Change
my mind.
In this area, where you first arrive to this area, there is another frozen lightning bolt.
Ooh. Oh.
Yes.
Interesting.
And you can like hunt down the reason why that is there.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, okay.
Yes.
You piqued my interest. I might go on this side quest now.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
I'm way more
I don't
into
know,
it, not the other buffoon.
yeah.
Follow the pig
That's
dog.
fair. Follow the pig dog.
I mean, Freyr,
Yeah.
right? Freyr did play up. He's like, oh, that wouldn't have killed Birger or the guy with the big sword that I don't remember. Yeah, he fell.
The stakes were so low.
Yeah. I just didn't feel it. Yeah, none of that was earned. Like all of it was just like.
It's like you're looking over the little boat and everyone's like, no.
Yeah, it's
all
like
right.
it's almost like everyone was surprised about like him being the one doing it. You know, it's like one of the minor characters is like, oh, what are you doing? We got this handled. Why? Sit back down. Sit back down.
That guy.
Oh shit, he just did it.
Did we ever give that character a last name? No, I don't think so.
Like it would have hit. I feel like it was funny because the camera, it was all cutscene and they really like played up into the this guy sacrificing himself, but. Obviously, you didn't even learn you barely talked to the guy. The character development wasn't there, so maybe they're back ending it. Maybe he's going to be a cooler character later, and then maybe his next sacrifice will feel.
I love how I think it was a conversation between Atreus and Kratos, but Atreus was like, "How could he have survived that fall?" And then Kratos was like, "Magic, maybe."
Oh, so at the end of so I'll just go ahead and spoil the side quest for you.
Okay.
So when you do finally get to Birger, two things happen. So, one, Atreus asks him that question. Atreus is like, "How did you survive the fall?" And he says, "I rolled."
Stop.
No.
Oh
I
my
rolled.
God.
And then you actually send him to Sindri's house.
Oh.
So it might become useful later.
Cool.
Interesting.
But
Okay.
Okay.
Wow.
I rolled.
I think, they do
Fuck
too much of
you.
the self-aware writing that I just don't think lands. I don't.
This
Just
bit
like-
tickled me.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it would if it was like the only one, but they do it pretty often where they kind of write in like a self-aware, we're in a video game moment, and it just feels like it's happening a lot.
I would recommend the side questy thing because the additional frozen lightning bolt and the lore surrounding that is very interesting.
Yeah.
Also, just I
Okay.
felt like the gameplay around there was really fun. Like they
Yeah.
really play up the time of day thing. There's areas you can access only on specific times of day.
Yeah, there's
You
like
get-
little tornadoes or something.
There's more than that too.
Cool.
But yeah, and there's like way more hidden areas in that air location than you think there are. And
Cool.
Ratatoskr gives you a little side quest, which is pretty cool. And there's like, I don't know, just a bunch of little fun things to like dabble around with. And
Cool.
while you're hunting down the lore of why there's another frozen lightning bolt here. So yeah,
Okay.
it was worthwhile. I enjoyed it.
Throw a bone to old Birger guy. Whatever his name.
Birger.
Yeah.
Go save Birger.
If only to get the lore behind. It's very interesting.
Go find out how he
Theoretically-
rolled out of the Viking ship.
Yeah. Yeah.
Theoretically, you don't have to save him in order to get the lore.
Oh
Okay.
wow. All right. Wow.
Okay.
Just
I
FYI.
would like to see him at Sindri's house. It'd be cool.
Another
I
Avenger.
do wonder if that'll come back later. If I get to like have him and if
Yeah,
he's
like
one
will
more
he
ally.
be part of the
say,
fight, the
I mean-
Ragnarok thing,
got
whatever it
Kratos
will
and
be.
Birger show.
He looks like a cool character. Like he has the giant sword. Like he's got all the trappings of a very good character. They just got to invest some development, and that'll be invested too. So
If you wander around that side questy area, so there's a lot of travelers actually in that area, which are tough fights, which are
those,
fun.
Yeah, those are usually.
But like some of them drop lore about Birger,
Oh.
which I was a little bit like, I'm like a little, okay, we could have had this before.
Right.
But like there is some backstory there where I guess he's kind of like shunning their practices typically, and which like I didn't know anything about until this side questy thing. So I'm like, okay, I don't really care. But yeah, there's some cool things there.
Okay.
You heard it here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
No one
right,
else
guys.
liked that cutscene? Wait, really?
What cutscene?
You're
The
talking
one where
about the
he kills
sacrifice?
himself.
Oh,
Yeah.
I liked it because it was funny. Like literally, Jimbo from the other room heard it happen and was like, "Oh no, that guy!"
Stephanie was yelling at the TV.
I could hear
like, what is this? Is so stupid. Why did that guy jump off? We could have killed him ourselves.
That's so good. I could hear him say that, like in my head. Oh, that guy.
That was when I texted you guys that this game was picking back up for me. I had just watched that.
no, I
That was the whole.
Okay.
Wow.
I thought it was Heimdall.
I thought it was
For me, it
Heimdall
was
too.
Heimdall.
No.
Wow, Kaylee.
Well, it was the whole bit, but like,
Kaylee, this is.
Oh.
We'll get more
Yeah.
divisive as we go on
love it.
the rest of this game, but it's ours.
Yeah,
What do you guys think the next chapter is? Where do you even go from here?
Yeah, it's kind of funny, right? Because we like
Yeah, I don't know.
aren't worried about. Well, I guess we've killed a god, though, so maybe that will have an effect that starts the plot in motion. But it is kind of funny, right? Because, like I was saying, when we were originally going to kill Heimdall in the way that Atreus wasn't coming back, I like really understood where the plot was going and what our motivation was. And ever since Atreus came back, we've sort of just been like wandering around. And I'm also not sure how, because we know we need to go to Asgard still, right? Like, just because it's a game. If that wasn't the thing, you would kind of be wondering, like, so how do we still make Ragnarok happen? Or, like, is it going to? Are we done with it? Like, what's really happening at this point?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the plot has to pick back up because I feel like the whole reason the band was together, Freya was invested because, we're going to kill Heimdall, we're going to go to Asgard.
Right.
And then by extension, start Ragnarok and the armies and all that stuff. And then Kratos, once Atreus gets back, he kind of drops that whole thing. And that's why Freya goes back to Vanaheim. And so, but again, killed Heimdall, so it's back in motion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll find out next week when we tackle Dose More chapters.
Yeah.
Dose more.
Woo. Woo. Birger. I think that's his name. Woo.
Put that thing on easy mode. Going standard edish. Story mode is my big fetish. Standard edish. My avatar's all coquettish. Oh, she's coquettish. This ain't no speed run, mama. I'm having hella fun. No need to get overpowered. Just take that starting power. You can turn me into a farmer, but don't get me a horse farmer. I'm going. Yeah, I'm going. Standard edish. Story mode is my big fetish. Standard edish. My avatar's all coquettish. Oh, she's coquettish. Deluxe edition art book. Mama, I'm never gonna look. Plastic jacket, fake sword, collector's racket, trophy hoard. You collected every single thing just to pop out all this DJ bling. Well, I'm still stuck at the starting tower. I've been lost for like a fucking hour. What? We'll go with standard edition. Story mode is my. Oh, she's cookie.